Hey guys, it's Rachel here, and last week I went to La Jolla, California for a few days with my husband just for a little getaway, and I had this brilliant idea that I was going to film this video while I was there. There was this great view, I was up on a patio, I looked much better than I do right now, and I actually filmed the whole video. And then when I looked back on it, it was completely out of focus. So my intention was that I was going to film a little clip of me kind of reading some of my newest novel that I'm working on. So I'm back home in Vegas and looking a little more shabby than I did when I first intended to film this video, but maybe just close your eyes. You don't have to look at me read this. This is a little clip from my newest book that I'm writing. It's called How to Be Someone Else. So I don't want to give away too much, so I'm just going to say that this is a new adult book. It's about a girl named Penny who has always kind of been the good girl, and it's her summer before her final year of college, and she's kind of going through a phase. She just got some news and it's kind of thrown her for a loop, and so she's kind of rebelling against her good girl image a little bit. The first thing I wanted to do was get drunk. And since I couldn't rightfully do it on my own, I had to give in and call my friends. My hand shook as I held the phone to my ear and listened to it ring. Holy shit, are you really calling me? Against all odds, I smiled. It turned out that I was genuinely happy to hear her voice. Hey Tamara, I crooned. After a beat, I added, it's been a while, I'm sorry. It's been much longer than a while, but I'll forgive you if you come hang out with me tonight. Jackpot. That's actually why I'm calling. Do you know if anyone's going out tonight? Penny Jane, I don't know what has gotten into you, but I highly approve, she said, laughing. I think that Ash and a few of her college friends are planning on heading to Tao. Of course they were going to the one place I detested the most. I thought about backing out, of saying, on second thought, I really shouldn't be spending the money. Instead, I found myself agreeing to go alone. I heard her clap her hands together. Yes, Penny, this is going to be one hell of a night. I knew that in one way or another she was right. I agreed to let Tamara do my makeup and pick out my outfit, which was something that I would normally never let her do. And that's how I knew I'd made the right decision. By the time we had our first round of drinks in our hands, I noticed just how much attention I was getting, and I liked it a lot. The nightclub was packed and so loud that I couldn't hear myself think. It was perfect. Penny, that Italian guy at 2 o'clock hasn't been able to take his eyes off of you. It was Ash's voice, yelling over the noise. I looked up at her before turning and following her gaze. My eyes locked on the deepest brown eyes I'd ever seen, surrounded by a mess of dark curls that fell over his face. My mouth instantly dried. I felt arms on my lower back pushing me forward. He sat up straighter as I approached him and took a long drink from his beer bottle. Hey, I said, which is when I realized that I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. I'd never talked to a guy in a bar. I'd never really even gotten that far before. Hey, he crooned, and his mouth formed into a smile that made my legs weak. I reached out for the empty bar stool in front of me to steady myself. What's your name? Penny. For real? That's a cool name. You don't hear that one too often. I nodded. I stared at his face, wondering how someone so young could have such a deep 5 o'clock shadow. So, can I get you another drink? He motioned to the glass in my hand that was pretty much only melted ice by that point. What were you drinking? I was embarrassed to tell him, so I said the first thing that came to mind. Whiskey. His eyebrows jumped, and I couldn't tell if he was impressed or just surprised. All right, another whiskey it is. And on the rocks, I see. Again, I nodded. What the hell did on the rocks mean? He flagged down a waitress and ordered my drink and another beer, even though his was still nearly full. Maybe he was as nervous as I was. Not likely. He reached out and took my hand. I'm Nick, by the way. I shook his hand awkwardly. It felt far too formal for the setting. I couldn't think of a single word to say. Are you shy, Penny? He asked, a smile pulling at his lips. Yes. No. I guess you could say that I'm a little out of my element. I tugged at the hem of my short jean skirt Tamara had dressed me in. I could feel Nick's gaze follow the long lines of my legs. "And why's that?" he asked, leaning in closer. "I'm not much of a drinker, so I haven't had much of a reason to come to places like this." He clicked his tongue. "Ah, I see. You're a good girl," he said. Our drinks arrived, and I lifted the glass to my mouth, grateful for the interruption. But I forgot that it was whiskey, and not the fuzzy navels it had been drinking. Before I could reel in my reaction, spit the brown liquid onto the table between us. I wanted to die. But Nick was nonplussed. "I had a feeling that's not what you were drinking." Miraculously, my face broke out into a smile. "And you let me order it anyway?" He leaned forward. The smell of his cologne tickled my nose. "Is it bad that I wanted to see what you do?" "No," I said, shaking my head, smirking like an idiot. "Not at all, actually. I'd have done the same thing." "Well, great," he said, clapping his hands together. "Now can I get you whatever it was you were really drinking?" I'm blushing. Am I really blushing? "A fuzzy navel," I whisper. Nick and I shared 3 drinks together, adding those to the 3 I had before we started talking, and, well, I was definitely drunk. Even through the haze, I could see that he was a gentleman. He danced closely, but not as though he wanted to take my clothes off right there and do naughty things to me. I, on the other hand, was suddenly unable to think of anything but the fact that up until that point I'd only slept with one person. I knew only what Matt's body looked like, what his touch felt like. Would it be so bad if I just... for one night? No. I can't, right? "Hey, where'd you go?" Nick's voice broke through my thoughts. I was chuckling as I looked up at him, knowing what I'd just been thinking, but when my eyes met his, there was something in them that was absolutely unmistakable. Lust. His gaze fell to my lips, and I knew what that look meant. He wanted to kiss me. I looked down at his lips too, in a way that I hoped said, "Yes, please." Nick kissed me. And I didn't think about Matt. I didn't think about my friends 10 feet away, and I didn't care that I was drunk. All I cared about was the voice in the back of my head that at that very moment was saying, "Yes, this is living." That's a little glimpse at what I've been working on right now. I hope you guys liked it, and I hope you'll be interested in reading some more.